Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining on this special day of Parashurama Ekadashi or Parivartini Ekadashi, where Lord Vishnu in his transcendental sleep does a parivartan or changes his position, or in Hindi we call karvat badalna. So this, when the Lord changes his karvat, it becomes an auspicious holy day. So, and also tomorrow is the Vaman Dwadashi, so we'll chant some. Today is a very also called Vaman Ekadashi also. So it's a day to remember Lord Vaman Dev also. Chalayasi Vikramane Balim Adbhuta Vamana Padanakha Nirajanita Jana Pavana Keshavadhrita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Kshatriya Rudhiramaye Jagata Apagata Papam Snapayasi papayasi samita bhavatapam Keshavadhrita bhrigupati rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. So these are the two prayers for the Dashavatara Stotra for Lord Vamandev and then for Parashurama, as we are reading the chapter 15 of Canto 9, entitled Parashurama, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation. So we read till text number 23 yesterday, and today we'll start with 24. We're talking about Kartavirya Arjuna, that how he... Question was asked, what was the wrong done by the Kshatriyas? Why did Parashurama kill them 21 times? So Shukdev Goswami is answering to Parikshit Maharaj's question by sharing the strength of Kartavirya Arjuna, that how at the banks of Narmada, when he had blocked the waters of Narmada river. So let's see what happens further, and then Ravana was captured. So basically showing Kartavirya Arjuna was very powerful. Let's see what happens. Tasmai sa naradevaya munir arhanam maharit sasenya matya vahaya havishmatya tapodhanaham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. The sage Jamdagni, who was engaged in great austerities in the forest, received the king very well, along with the king's soldiers, ministers, and carriers. He supplied all the necessities to worship these guests, for he possessed a Kamadhenu cow that was able to supply everything. Purport. The Brahma Samhita informs us that the spiritual world and especially the planet Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna lives, is full of Surabhi cows. Surabhi Rabhipalayantam. The Surabhi cow is also called Kamadhenu. Although Jamdagni possessed only one Kamadhenu, he was able to get from it everything desirable. Thus, he was able to receive the king along with the king's great number of followers, ministers, soldiers, animals, and palanquin carriers. When we speak of a king, we understand that he is accompanied by many followers. Jamdagni was able to receive all the king's followers properly and feed them sumptuously with food prepared in ghee. The king was astonished at how opulently Jamdagni was because of possessing only one cow, and therefore he became envious of the great sage. This was the beginning of his offense. Parashurama, the incarnation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Kartavirya Arjuna because Kartavirya Arjuna was too proud. One may possess unusual opulence in this material world, but if one becomes puffed up and acts whimsically, he will be punished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the lesson to learn from the history in which Parashurama became angry at Kartavirya Arjuna and killed him and rid the entire world of the Kshatriyas 21 times. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. So, Kartavirya Arjuna was very, very powerful. We read the story yesterday that how a personality, Dashanan, was like a monkey in front of him. He bound him and then released him like a monkey. 1,000 arms, Sahastra Bahu, so much opulence, so much strength. Now this, when one gets siddhis, powers, one often becomes proud. We read that earlier also. Anyone remembers in what context we read? Who was the king? Actually, we read about Kartavirya Arjuna only, right? And multiple other kings we have also read in this chapter only. So basically, pride comes before the fall, right? So we see that here. Pride comes before the fall. Now, this big king with his thousands of, soldiers, etc., and one cow could feed them sufficient. Not just sufficient, sumptuous. One time there was a Rath Yatra, and in Juhu, the big, these Rath Yatras are very big in Mumbai. So devotees didn't expect the number of people, and the number of people came were almost double that expected. So the prasadam was kind of short. So, and then they had broadcasted that there'll be sumptuous feast or sumptuous prasadam. So, and then later they were discussing like how the event went with Maharaj. Everyone was a little depressed because they couldn't feed sumptuous prasad. Maharaj said, don't worry, take the chewers out of it and say, some prasad. You offered some prasad. Everyone could get some khichdi. So, just we got reminded of that sumptuous word. But the point is, Jamdagni received all his guests. Atithi, they came without a tithi, without a date, without a proper notice, but Jamdagni had this special cow. And just think about, the spiritual world has thousands and unlimited number of such cows, which tells that Krishna does not need anything. Lakshmi Sahasra Sambrama Sevyamanam. Sahasra Lakshmi, Sahasra Surabhi cows. They're always eager to serve Krishna and their capacity is unlimited. Can we serve thousands of devotees if, let's say, they come at our home, and that too uninvitedly? Can any one of us do that? Without notice, we can't do, right? Even if 2 people come, it'll be difficult. If 20 people come, it'll be, the whole schedule will be, because none of us have Surbi cows, but Jamdagni had. But interesting lesson here, or kind of that the same person who was feeding Kartavirya Arjuna, in this case Jamdagni and Surbi, he became envious. He could not see how could such a special thing, special entity be with this ordinary sage? So he could not tolerate that. He could not tolerate. So let's see. I think that's coming more in the next verse. So let's read the next verse, which will talk about it.
Prabhuji, curious to know that Kamdani cow was able to supply everything. What does it mean? That means all type of grains, everything. Because Prabhupada in his purport writing that feed them sumptuously with food prepared in ghee. That's only he's mentioning.
Everything. Kamadhenu means like desire fulfilling. If you ask gold, she'll give gold. If you ask mango, she'll give mangoes. If you ask, pani puri, she'll give pani puri. Fuska, your favorite, right?
Yeah.
She'll give whatever, But it is a very nice lesson. I don't want to kind of unveil that. It will come later. She didn't want to go with the Kartavira Arjun. Basically, Jamdagini was using it not for selfish purposes. That's the main thing. The energy of the Lord should be utilized for the service of the Lord. Then that energy will flourish and be happy to be in the hands of a servant who is using that energy in the right way. Otherwise, that energy would not want to go in the hands of a miscreant who will selfishly use it. A little bit jumping here, but since the topic has come. So that Kartavira Arjuna was that miscreant who wanted to selfishly use Kamdhenu or the energy of the Lord. Why? If you say, give me beautiful girls, that will supply. But there's a nice drama also. But she won't supply because she's also intelligent. She won't supply anything for wrong cause. Desireful. Actually, in spiritual world, every particle is Chintamani, transcendental. So in Vrindavan, when we go, Maharaj says, and the senior Vaishnavas also say, that be careful of your prayers. Every particle is transcendental. Every particle of sand, every tree, whatever you pray, you'll be fulfilled because every particle is hearing it. Your prayers, your consciousness, your thoughts. So, and they are desireful. One is desire fulfilling. Whatever we desire, they'll fulfill. So we should have only spiritual desires. So yeah, not just they ate a sumptuous feast. So let's see what happens further. The king was a little envious. Let's read text 25. So first who didn't get chance yesterday, maybe we can read first. Anyone who didn't get chance yesterday? Pravir Prabhu, want to read?
Yes, Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 25. Sabhai ratnam tu tad drishtva atma oishajya oti sayanam tat na adriyato agnihotriyam sha obhilasha sha hai haya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Kartabirja Arjuna thought that Jamadagni was more powerful and wealthy than himself because of possessing a jewel in the form of the Kamdhenu. Therefore, he and his own man, the Haihayas, were not very much appreciative of Jamadagni's reception. On the contrary, they wanted to possess that Kamdhenu, which was useful for the execution of the Agnihotra sacrifice. Purport: Jamadagni was more powerful than Kartabirja Arjuna because of performing the Agnihotra Yagya with clarified butter received from the Kamadhenu. Not everyone can be expected to possess such a cow. Nonetheless, an ordinary man may possess an ordinary cow, give protection to this animal, take sufficient milk from it, and engage the milk to produce butter and ghee, especially for performing the Agnihotra Yagya. This is possible for everyone. Thus, we find that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advises Go Raksha, the protection of cows. This is essential because if cows are cared for properly, they will surely supply sufficient milk. We have practical experience in America that in our various ISKCON farms, we are giving proper protection to the cows and receiving more than enough milk. In other farms, the cows do not deliver as much milk as in our farms because our cows know very well that we are not going to kill them. They are happy and they give ample milk. Therefore, this instruction given by Lord Krishna, Go Raksha, is extremely meaningful. The whole world must learn from Krishna how to live happily without scarcity simply by producing food, grains, Annat Bhavanti Bhutan, and giving protection to the cows, Go Raksha. Krishi Go Raksha Banijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. Those who belong to the third level of human society, namely the mercantile people, must keep land for producing food grains and giving protection to cows. This is the injunction of Bhagavad Gita. In the matter of protecting the cows, the meat eaters will protest. But in answer to them, we may say that since Krishna gives stress to cow protection, those who are inclined to eat meat may eat the flesh of unimportant animals like hogs, dogs, goats, and sheep. But they should not touch the life of the cows, for this is destructive to the spiritual advancement of human society. Hare Krishna. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving the emphasis on protecting the cow. And Prabhupada is saying why. First he said about what was Jamadagni's, as Prabhuji was mentioning in the previous verse, that Jamadagni was using the cow for the Agnihotra Yagya, which was for the pleasure of the Lord Vishnu. And he was not using it for himself. And so that was the difference between him and the Kartabirja Arjuna and his mans. And now Prabhupada is explaining how we can be benefited. And Prabhupada is saying that from the milk we can get ultimately the highest is clarified butter and ghee. And by ghee we can do the jagnas, and also different types of products were made. We also know that during Vrindavan pastime, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, the gopas and gopis, they used to make different milk products, and they used to live on that. Actually, they used to go and sell it in Mathura, and then by that they were living on that. So, and Prabhupada is saying that those who are the mercantile, like we know that Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, they should have the land and the cows, and they should protect the cows, and by the cows they can live. And Prabhupada also explaining, and we see that actually here, that the cows which are they are not fearful, they give more milk. And the cows, those who are in the different, by the slaughterhouse, and they know that once they cannot give the milk, they are going to be slaughtered. So we see that those things. And Prabhupada is finally, we can see how Prabhupada was like considerable. Prabhupada is saying here that those who cannot live, they cannot live without flesh. They can eat other things, but not the cows. And actually, Prabhupada, and I was reading one time, Prabhupada cooked the a paneer sabji, and I think it's in Australia. And he stated that this can be given to those people who likes to eat meat. And he cooked and showed it to the devotees there. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, back to you. Please add or correct.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So an envious person cannot see anyone better than him or her. Very nice, important lesson. Kartavira Arjuna, just think about it. Did he have anything less? Did he have a very small home? Did he have less power? Did he have less wealth, less followers, less anything? No, no, no. He had everything in abundance. Big palace, he was the king, strength like anything, 1,000 arms, queens, and you name it, he had it. Billionaire like, right? In today's day and age, but he could not see how come this person has something which I don't have. That's the nature of envy. Today, especially being Vaman Dev's Ekadashi, and this is a very rightly apt statement by Vaman Dev that anyone who is not satisfied with what one has will not be satisfied even after getting the 3 worlds. Kartavira Arjuna had practically so much, but he was not happy and satisfied. And as soon as he saw something better, anger, lust, envy. It's a very nice lesson, I feel. So he wanted to get the cow. Because Shamdagni should not have that. This is like a jewel which I should have that. Because I'm the king, I'm the boss. So rather than being grateful, just think about it. Jamdagni offered such a magnanimous reception. Correct? And here Prabhupada is writing, they were not very much appreciative of the reception. So they were not kritagya, they were kritagna. Kritagya means to remember or to know what someone else has done for me and be grateful, be genuinely grateful. Kritagya. Kritaghana means to not remember what someone else has done, but thinking how I can exploit that person. That's what Kartavira Arjuna is trying to do. How dare he forgot all the good reception. It was not a joke to receive thousands of guests and thousands of military force, and even in their all the carriers and palanquins and stuff. Rather, he's trying to get the same, get basically be envious and exploit. So we should be grateful and we should have gratitude, not think why he has better than me. Because there will always be a person who has more than us, who has a bigger house, who has a better car, who has a better this, who has a better degree, who has a better beauty, who has better income, better this, better that. There will always be. In the material world, there will always be someone better than us. No matter we are millionaire or billionaire or whatever. So we should always be grateful. And in spiritual life, we should always look up. So this verse is primarily about cow protection. Prabhupada is emphasizing about cow protection. So we all should try our best. If not directly, direct is basically direct, like projects like D-Land is a very good example. We should try to support. And there are other multiple such projects in US and in India. But we can't support everyone. But at least we should support someone, right? We're not in a position to stop the slaughtering of millions of cows every day, which is happening. But at least we can say that I did my best based on our capacity, our position, our role. If Krishna sees and asks us, what did you do for my dear cows? My name is Gopal. I'm Govardhan. Namo Brahmane Devai Go Brahmane Hitaya Cha. What did you do for my dear cows? So, can we say something? If the answer is yes, which is great. If the answer is no, then we should try. Based on our capacity, based on our whatever God has given us, Krishna has given us, we must use it in a balanced way and do something for the cows also. Because they Mata, Go Mata. So we should try our best. There are multiple programs like adopt a cow, adopt a calf, feed grains for a month, feed for 1 year, feed for a lifetime. At least on our birthdays, anniversaries, kids' birthdays, we can offer some charity or go to a Goshala or whatever possible. There are many options are there, both in India and in US, and whatever country you are. There are multiple options. Where there is a will, there is a way. There are multiple projects who are trying to take care of cows. It's not easy, right? When we spend a day or two with the cows, we will understand. It needs a lot of hard labor and a lot of resources. It's not easy, especially in US. Just think about weather is harsh. In Florida, it's still okay, but there are cows in New Vrindavan, like so harsh weather in winter, the resources it needs, the manpower it needs, a lot. And everything is very expensive. So we should try, right? Our best to, and it will help in our spiritual advancement. It will help because when we get the blessings of cows, we become an instrument to serve the cows. We will get blessings. Naturally, we'll get blessings. Naturally, the cow will be happy and her blessings will outpour upon those who become instruments to serve them. Krishna will be happy. Man bhakta pujadika. Cows are Krishna's devotees, right? So this verse is about Goraksha. And if not direct help, indirect help, use only cow products. Even if they are $1 expensive, so what? If someone is genuinely taking care of the cows, if they're sustaining the cow throughout their life, naturally that product will get expensive. That milk will be expensive. So we should not compare it with the bad quality milk or which is not good for our health and spiritual health also. Even if it's $1 expensive, that's fine. But at least it will help us, right? At least we should use those as far as possible. Not the ones which rather use cow flesh or animal products. There are a lot of products, soaps and detergents and shampoos and stuff, which rather use animal products. So what to speak of being at a neutral level? Neutral level is don't buy those products, but on a positive level is buy the products which have been in a good way made with cow products. Cow products in the sense like there is from Vrindavan and other places, there are a lot of like soaps and stuff which don't use like flesh, but use like gobar and go-arka, etc., which is very healthy also. And it helps to serve other cows in an indirect way. Okay. Text 26. Anyone who didn't read yesterday? Swati Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Then we pray. Text 26. Avir dhani vishetarpan narantartham achodayat teja maheshmati nimlur savats samkradhantin bhagat. Translation and quoted by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Being puffed up by material power, Kartavirajana encouraged his men to steal Jamadagni's Kamadhenu. Thus the men forcibly took away the crying Kamadhenu along with her calf to Maheshmati, Kartavirajana's capital. Purport. The word Havir Dhanim is significant in this verse. Havir Dhanim refers to a cow required for supplying havis or ghee for the performance of ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices. In human life, one should be trained to perform yagnas. As we are informed in Bhagavad Gita 3:19, Yajnartat karma nonyatra loko yam karma bandhanam. If we do not perform yagna, we shall simply work very hard for sense gratification, like dogs and hogs. This is not civilization. A human being should be trained to perform yagna. Yajnat bhavanti parjanya. If yagna are regularly performed, there will be proper rain from the sky, and when there is regular rainfall, the land will be fertile and suitable for producing all the necessities of life. Yagna therefore is essential. For performing yagna, clarified butter is essential, and for clarified butter, cow protection is essential. Therefore, if we neglect the Vedic way of civilization, we shall certainly suffer. So-called scholars and philosophers do not know the secret of success in life, and therefore they suffer in the hands of Prakriti, nature. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Nonetheless, although they are forced to suffer, they think they are advancing in civilization. Ahankara vipundatma kartahamurti manyate. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore meant to revive a mode of civilization in which everyone will be happy. This is the motive of our Krishna conscious movement. Yajna sukhena bhavantu. So in this verse, as we saw from the previous verse, how Kartavirajana was envious of the Kamadhenu, which was Jamadagni's, and he used it to perform Agnihotra, and and how we also discussed about the importance of cow, and how from cow and the cow products it was used in sacrifice. And here Srila Prabhupada is explaining again the importance of sacrifice, and whatever the living being does, it should be to please the Supreme Lord and not for sense gratification. And that should be the purpose of any activity that one performs. And he's explaining about the importance of yagna in this verse, how we get rainfall and also grains, everything that is required for all the necessities for the human being is provided by performing yagna. Thank you, God. Hare
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this nice verse. Generally, when a guest goes to someone's place and they offer some nice, then there's reciprocation, right? That, okay, I'm very grateful to be here. I brought this gift for you. Please accept this. You gave such nice reception to us. So, but here we see totally opposite. Rather than reciprocating, he's stealing the same thing which Jamdagni had to serve, along with the calf. A very nice line Prabhupada mentions, if we neglect the Vedic way of life, we shall certainly suffer. That's what is happening. Why are we suffering? Because we neglect the Vedic way of life. We are supposed to have simple living and high thinking in a Krishna conscious lives. One devotee said we are supposed to have simple living and high thinking, but these days we simply live and hardly think. Right? Hardly think about what's right, what's wrong, just selfish propensity, nate vidu swarthagatim Vishnu, not knowing that the real happiness will come from connecting to our roots, and that's Krishna consciousness, serving mother cow, serving Vaishnava. It's a simple, basic tenets of bhakti, which in the Vedic lifestyle, everyone was following it. But to speak of going in the previous yugas, even like 50 years back, in India especially, even in India still something is there, the trace of it is there. Especially after the introduction of these TV, gadgets, laptop, we may feel that we may have advanced, which is fine, a tiny piece of it is there, advancements. But the culture and everything has been spoiled. The devotion, the culture, the family spirit, all those things have just washed away. So the Krishna consciousness movement is there to give us all happiness. Isn't it wonderful? That is the motive of our bhakti movement. That everyone be happy by connecting to a simple life, regulated eating, regulated sleeping, recreation, etc., centered around Krishna. That's the basically sum and substance. To have time for everything, don't over endeavor, don't overdo things. Have time for bhakti, have time for family, have time for everything, time for seva. And life is short, right? Life is short. So let's not complicate it by getting involved in million things. Just simple lifestyle, high thinking, and remember Krishna, and that's it. Easier said than done, but this is the thing which will keep us happy. If we want to be happy, we have to follow this. Prabhupada is very clearly mentioned. If we don't follow this, then we will be sad and miserable. Okay, let's see the next one. Anyone has any other comments, additions? Nayan Prabhu, you want to read? Next verse, 28. Sorry, 7. Or anyone who didn't read yesterday, maybe we can read first. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah, Mataji, please, go ahead.
Dhanyavad Pranam to all devotees. Text 27. Atha Rajani Nirayate Rama Ashrama Agataha Srutva Tattasya Dauratmayam Chukrodhahir Ivahataha. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Therefore, Kartavirya Arjuna, having left with the Kamadhenu, Parashurama returned to the ashram. When Parashurama, the youngest son of Jamadagni, heard about Kartavirya Arjuna's nefarious deed, he became as angry as a trampled snake. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anywhere else, anyone has heard about Kamdhenu cow? And someone wanted to take her? Quite famous story. Besides this, it's a nice drama also on this.
Ashtabashu, that
So not able to recall that one.
Is it Vishwamitra Prabhu?
Yes, Vishwamitra. And from whom he wanted to take?
Vasishtha Muni.
Yes,
Vasishtha Muni, yes.
Vasishtha Muni. The name was Sabala. Remember, there's a nice drama also on this. Vishwamitra Muni, same. He came with his military and everything. Vasishtha offered a great reception. But at that point, he could not take, because Sabala said, I don't want to go. Vasishtha said, well, I can't do. If you want to do something, then you do. You have the power. And then she got the blessing of her master, and she created a military force. It's a nice drama, actually. All the soldiers coming out of her body. Very nice. How many of you have seen that? Anyone? Seen? It's a very nice drama. RG Media. I'll share that again. But in this case, the cow was taken by the evil Kartavirya, Arjuna. Ram was not present at home when this whole scene had happened. Otherwise, how dare Kartavirya Arjuna touch the cow? But when he came back, the anger, Kshatriya blood, these words, he became angry as a trampled snake. The same words are used for Dhruva Maharaj also. And Prabhupada mentions it's like Kshatriya blood. The Kshatriya blood was of course, we already know that Richika's wife, Satyavati, was told that your grandson will be having Kshatriya qualities. So we see that Kshatriya qualities here. Right? So Kshatriya cannot, they're like, passion is prominent. Fight. So we see the emotions. To be angry on the wrong person is a good way to channelize anger. Like the typical example is given. Hanuman was angry and he burned the Lanka. But later it is mentioned that Hanuman was also very introspective. Later he was introspective. Did I do the right thing? Did I do a wrong thing? Or did I misutilize my anger? So Hanuman, being a pure devotee, knows how to channelize. But in situation of a person like myself, I have to be very careful, because often it is not me channelize the anger, but anger channelizing me. Is anger controlling me, or I am controlling anger? Hanuman was controlling anger and using it in Krishna's service, Ram's service. But in the conditioned soul, anger controls the jiva and uses the jiva to do wrong things, like shouting, fighting, throwing things, etc. So let's see the next verse. Yes, Sampada Mataji, you wanted to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Kuram adaya parasum satunam varmakarmukam anvadhava taturmarso mrikenda eva yuthapam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Taking up his fierce chopper, his shield, his bow, and a quiver of arrows, Lord Parashurama, exceedingly angry, chased Kartavirya Arjuna, just as a lion chases an elephant. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. So quite straightforward verse here. Thank you so much for reading. So Ram took his Parshu and became Parshuram. Parshu is the chopper. Parashum. Right, we see the Ghoram. Very, very fierce, extreme fierce. So he took his shield, his Parshu, his basically all the weapons and arrows and stuff, bow and arrow. And when Krishna is running, Krishna is, who can escape his weapons? So you can imagine, like a lion, when the angry lion is chasing the elephant. Lion is the king of the jungle. Elephant may be even bigger, but the strength of the lion The jaws of the lion is no match to, the elephant's strength has no match to the lion. The lion can easily defeat the elephant. So let's read the next verse, text 29. Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu, please. With the last one for today.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tam apatana tapa apatana tantam brigu varyam ojasa danu daram bana parash vadayudam Ainaya karm mama baram akra dambil yutam jatabil dadrishe puram vishan. Translation: As King Kartaviyarjuna entered his capital Mahismati Puri, he saw Lord Parashurama, the best of the Bhrigu dynasty, coming after him, holding a chopper, shield, bow, and arrows. Lord Parashuram was covered with a black deer skin, and his matted locks of hair appeared like the sunshine. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, Lakshay Prabhu. So here comes the entry of Bhrigupati Rupa Keshavadhrita Jaya Jagadish Hare. We read in the Jaya Dev Goswami's the Shavatar Stotra. Keshavadhrita Bhrigupati Rupa. Why? So we appeared in the Bhrigu dynasty, as we are reading in this verse also. So text numbers, which was that 6, yeah. Who have assumed the form of Bhrigupati in the best of the Bhrigu dynasty. Bhrigu Varyam. So that's the connection to the Bhrigu. So now, this verse also shows the speed, because as Kartavya was entering, Parashurama was right behind him. Right? Kartavya had started like before, right? Because he had his whole feast, he took, and then Parashurama came back to his home, got to know, got his weapons ready, and basically even Kartavya could not get back his home. Parashurama was right behind him. So we will pause here and meditate upon this, wonderful pastime. I've shared a drama also with all of you in the group, so you can see that wonderful drama as well, and relish the beautiful pastime of Parashurama. So, anyone has any comments or additions before we stop here? Shri Parashuram Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Vaman Dev ki jai, Shri Parashurama ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Puran ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Thank you so much. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you, Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.